Welcome into the High Noon Show with me, Pugs Moran. This is Pugs & Company on the Radio Misfits podcast and now streaming network. It is December the 9th, the 343rd day of the year. 22 days remain until the end of the year and 16 until Christmas. I am not ready for Christmas, boy, let me tell you. Hold on, let me put my soda with my new cool-ass steel straw. Yeah, I had one of those, I don't know what that's called. What is that called? What are those Yeti cups? Got one of those Yeti cups a couple of years ago for my birthday. Greatest birthday present I've ever had. Never had a birthday present that I've used day in and day out for like 3 years. That Yeti cup I used day in and day out. But I lost the straw. Something went wiggy with the straw. I don't remember what happened. So for the last couple of years, I've just been using like, Slurpee straws or whatever. And they're gross. You got to change them out every day, blah, blah, blah. And I tried to get another one of those Yeti straws, but it was like $15 just for the straw. And I'm like, nope, no, I cannot do it. That is not a deal breaker amount of money for most things, but for a straw, $15 is a deal breaker. So yesterday I was over at the Dollar Tree and guess what they had? $1 steel straws. And I got like 5 of them. So things are looking pretty up for me. How about you? Is today a good day for you? It's a good day for me. We do this show each and every day at noon. Call it the High Noon Show. What we do here is we go through all the things that are trending, all the topics, all the current events that people are discussing. And, I consider this show, this is a service from me to you. It's utilitarian in nature. It allows you to have sort of a Cliff Notes version of everything that's happening in the world today so that you're not walking around out there going, I don't know. When somebody says, hey, did you hear about? You can use this show as a bit of a guide for that. At least that's how I justify it. I also have fun. I like doing it. I appreciate it. I tell you people all the time, this show is the one thing that I look forward to the most. Hi, Steve. Steve is always the first guy in the chat room. You can join us by going to, go to pugscast.com. That'll take you directly to the YouTube page or on Facebook. Pugs & Company show page on Facebook. You can also find links to it from time to time on my own personal Facebook page, which is John Pugs. And also, if you follow me on Twitter, Pugs Co on Twitter. That's another good one. So, there are all kinds of ways that you can follow the show. You can also help support the show at any point, anytime. We do this show for tips. So if you're so inclined, we sure would appreciate the help. All right, we see the chat room picking. Hi, April. April knows. Look, so many of you people are just such wonderful supporters of the show. I just can't thank you enough. All right, so what are we going to do today? We like to start out each and every show with something I call the moment of joy. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell you about the Pillow Talk show. That's right. I forget. We do 2 streams a day. We do this one at noon. It comes on at, coincidentally, noon. The High Noon Show, again, utilitarian, current events, topics. We run through everything. I give you some hot takes on all the things that are going on. And, that's basically what this is. Then we do the Pillow Talk show. The Pillow Talk show comes on. That's at 9 o'clock, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time. And we operate on Central Standard Time here because, 1, that's where we are. And 2, because it's just the best time zone. Central Time is just the best time zone. I look at people in the East and like their news comes on at 11. They're late. My whole life growing up, the whole deal was you watched primetime TV between 7 p.m. and 10 p.m. And then at 10 p.m., the news would come on. And then at 10:30, you get in bed. You get in bed. You get a good night's sleep. You're asleep by 11. On the East Coast, their news comes on. They still got to wake up for work at, by 9 a.m. in the morning. And they ain't changed the time that you got to wake up. But in New York, you're an hour later. You got to stay up an hour later just to be informed. That just seems like madness to me. And don't even get me started on the Pacific time. They do theirs at 11 too, by choice. Their news comes on at 11 p.m. out there too, by choice. Central Time's got it all figured out. 10 o'clock, you watch your late local news. 10:30, the shows come on, whatever it is that you watch. Look, let's be honest. I'm talking like someone coming at you straight from 1985. Nobody watches late local news anymore, and nobody watches The Tonight Show. It's just not a thing that we do anymore. But the way I was raised, that's sort of how it works out. So Central Time Zone is the best time zone. 9 p.m. Central. 9 p.m. Central is when the Pillow Talk show comes on. And, and it's often the case with us here at the Pugs and Company Enterprises, a division of Radio Misfits Worldwide. We do a good pillow talk show, and it's followed by one that's not so great. 2 nights ago, the Pillow Talk show I thought was really great. James Parker said something that he refuses to take back. It set off our buddy Sunglasses, who also joins us in the 9 p.m. show. Sunglasses, by the way, has a daytime alter ego, E the Artist, and he joins us here at 1 o'clock to go through some of the topics with us. First hour is all me. First hour is just me. So if you don't like me, just tune out. Come back at 1. You'll get E with us, E the Artist with us. 2 nights ago, great show, Pillow Talk. Great show. There was controversy. There was public shaming. It was wonderful. It was just everything. And I wasn't involved in any of it. I got to just sit back and watch these two guys just go at it. I appreciate that. That is, boy, because usually I'm at the center of the hatred. I am. I usually take all the incoming heat. Not this time. And that was a great show. And then last night was just, I don't know. I felt like it's still good, I guess. I mean, it's all right. It was fine. It's better than I think most of the other things that you can get that are live streams. It just wasn't up to my expectations. And as all of you know, I am self-loathing. So what typically happens after this show and after the Pillow Talk show is that I will go into another room, a dark room, and I will sit in the corner and I'll curl up in the fetal position and I will hate watch myself. I will hate watch what we did for the previous 2 hours, and then I will have a fitful night's sleep. It's a cascading domino effect of just awful things that I have to deal with. But not here. This is going to be a good show. And why is it going to be a good show? Well, because every day we like to start out with something we call the moment of joy, a little something that puts you in a good mood. I've been struggling for the moment of joy the last couple of days. I don't know. I haven't been able to find. Sometimes the moment of joys, they just fall into my lap, and I'm like, oh, that's a moment of joy. Oh, that's another moment of joy. And I bank some. Right? It's like, okay, I won't use this one now, but on days where I can't find a moment of joy, I'll pull this one out. Well, over the last week or so, I have just depleted the reserve moment of joy accounts, and I was really struggling the last couple of days, but I found a good one. Here. This is a moment of joy, especially if you're a dad. If you're a dad, you got to love this. Here we go. Look at this. You know what this moment of joy is? This is Tiger Woods, who appears to be fine from his car accident. Remember his car accident a couple of years ago? Yeah, he's fully recovered. I guess he's going to start golfing again. Maybe not to the competitive level that we're used to seeing Tiger Woods, but that's okay because they got one in reserve, and his name is Charlie Woods. And this is Tiger's son, and this is such a great video. This is a video of Tiger Woods golfing and Charlie Woods golfing, and it just shows, I'm a father, and you look for things as a dad. Not that you don't think he's yours. I mean, look, I completely, I've been sold that my kid was mine from the get-go. So that's not the issue here. But in addition to that, you look for like traits, like genetic traits, like things that, oh yeah, that's mine. Oh yeah, I do that all the time. Oh yeah, that's my kid. Now, aside from the fact that my kid is a slob, his bedroom is a train wreck. That is obviously me. That's all me. I used to do. I found a bowl of cereal just shoved under the bed. Just not brought back into the kitchen and put in the sink and rinsed out. No, put in the dishwasher. No, just a bowl of cereal under the bed. No idea how long it was there. It hadn't calcified yet, so I assume it was within 24 hours, 48 hours. But still, just the idea, the mindset that the kid would go, this bowl of cereal is now in the way, and I'll slide it under the bed. Now it is not in the way. So those traits he definitely takes from me. But there are other things, mannerisms, the way they speak, the way they talk, the way they hold their head, the way they react to situations. Those are all the kinds of things that I like to look for and things that I like to see. Well, there is no doubt that little Charlie Woods is Tiger's kid. Here's your moment of joy. Watch this.
He's really embracing this moment.
The mannerisms, the twirls, the gait, the fist pumps, like father, like son.
This is wonderful.
You're talking about.
a duo that we're seeing.
He's got it. Oh, get right in.
Be the number.
Got it covered, Dad.
Come on, Dad. I
Come
got
on up
you.
I mean, look at the way they're standing.
Charlie opens the club plays a little quicker on the backswing, but look at the width right there on the way back. You'll see at the top, little firmer hands for Charlie. Tiger drops the club in under a little bit.
My God, little clone. And the fist bump at the end. All right, so if you were all worried about never seeing Tiger again, there's another one coming up right behind him. That. It's April's birthday. Happy birthday, April. I didn't know that. Oh my God. Happy birthday, April. We would have done a whole show for April's birthday had I known. That Tiger Woods thing is just great to me. I just, as a father, as a father who have had those moments, like, I'll give you an example. Okay, so I have a way of standing. My first ex-wife, she pointed this out to me like back in the late 90s. I had no idea. She was trying to find me in a crowd at some radio thing, and she was standing up above the crowd, and she was looking down, and she was scanning the crowd, and she was able to pick me out. She's always able to pick me out. And I said, "How did you find me?" And she goes, "Because of the way you stand." And I go, "What do you mean the way I stand?" I didn't know that I had a way that I stand. And she did it. She said, "This is how you stand. You don't stand when you're relaxing and standing in a crowd. You don't stand like other people. You stand like this. This is what I do." And I do it naturally. And I guess I've always done it. But I put my fists like this, and I put them high up on my back, and I stand like this, right? Almost like chicken wings, right? So like I have this chicken wing stance that I use. Now, since she pointed that out to me, I've been very aware of it. And I notice when I'm doing it, I'm like, "Oh, I'm doing that stand thing again that I do." So this year we were watching my son play football, and he was on the sideline, and there were, 50 kids all in uniforms standing side by side. And we didn't know what his number was yet because he had changed numbers, and nobody, his mom and me and his stepdad, we weren't sure what number it was that he was wearing. And his mom said, "There he is right there." And I looked, and it's because he was doing the chicken wing stance. He's just standing there on the sideline in his uniform, doing the same thing with his arms like this, almost like chicken wings. And the credit where credit is due, I had never really called it chicken wings, but his stepfather said, "Yeah, he's got that chicken wing thing going on." I'm like, "That's it. That's the genetic chicken wing thing." So when I see that Tiger Woods thing, it just makes me laugh because I love finding those little mannerisms, those little things that you're like, "Oh, yeah, I do that. That totally came from me." All right, now we do a little thing at the top of the show we like to call "Why Today Doesn't Stink." Why today's a pretty good day. Today in history is probably the way it would best be described. But, we got to come up with something colorful and cartoonish to make it more interesting. On this day in 1965, the Kecksburg UFO incident occurred. Oh, now those of you who know, you know me. I am a UFO freak. I love the UFO stuff. Longtime listeners know I believe that I was abducted. Story for another time. But it's a good story. It's one of my best. 1965, the Kecksburg UFO incident occurred. A fireball is seen from Michigan to Pennsylvania, with witnesses reporting something crashing in the woods near Pittsburgh. Now, this is one of the first mass sightings of the modern UFO world. Kecksburg is always considered to be, I mean, look, there's Roswell, of course, but there wasn't like a mass sighting of this incident. Kecksburg was seen by people all over the country that saw this thing come tumbling, down. And, there's been scientists and stuff. A lot of them think that it could have been just a very large asteroid that made a long and protracted re-entry into our Earth's atmosphere, crashing near Pittsburgh. But a lot of other scientists say, nah, asteroids don't do that like that. That is not an asteroid. That could be a plane crash, but no, that was not a plane crash. So Kecksburg, 1965 on this day. On this day in 1996, hey, here's a great day for perverts. Gwen Jacob is acquitted in Ontario, Canada, of committing an indecent act. What was her indecent act? She walked down the street topless. She decided that women should be allowed to be topless whenever the hell they wanted. And guess what? That acquittal gave rise to the right in Ontario, Canada, for women to be topless if they want. A woman in Ontario, Canada can walk down the street topless, and she cannot be convicted for that because apparently there is legal precedent that allows for it to happen. And apparently there's a law in the books there in Ontario, Canada, because of this thing that happened in 1996 where Gwen Jacob walked down the street topless, allowing her lady stuff to just flop around. Also on this day in 2008, Governor of Illinois Rod Blagojevich is arrested by federal officials for crimes including the attempted selling of a U.S. Senate seat that was vacated by President-elect Barack Obama. Now, I wasn't there for this. I was here in Dallas in 2008. But I remember this. Full disclosure, was never a fan of Rod Blagojevich. Didn't like his resume. His resume, basically, he was the heir apparent to this super corrupt Chicago political dynasty. He married into it. He married the daughter of a very powerful Chicago politician. And, it just seemed like he came out of nowhere and was suddenly the governor of Illinois. By the way, Illinois leading the league in convicted governors. We've had in my lifetime, I think 4 Illinois governors have gone to jail in my life. I'm not that old. It's crazy. They all go to jail. They all get. I guess the good news is they get caught in Illinois. I'm not naive enough to believe that every other state's governor is just an above-board, honest broker. Now, I just like to think that in Illinois, we catch them. We catch these sons of bitches and we put them in jail. So on this day, in 1996, or in 2008, Governor Rod Blagojevich was arrested. Now, here's why I didn't like this case. I think he did something shady, and I think he needed to stop being governor for it. I think it was shady. I think it was just flagrantly unethical what he tried to do. Barack Obama was a senator from Illinois. He'd become president of the United States. And so there's an open seat. So the governor then has the right to appoint whoever he wants to an incredibly powerful position, a senator from the United States state of Illinois. That's a big job. Look, it led Obama to the presidency. So you get to appoint whoever you want. And apparently he was looking to appoint somebody that would, maybe support his campaigns, maybe had backers who would support it. Selling the seat is essential. Now, he never sold the seat. He tried. He was caught trying, which, hey, I think that's fine. You're still guilty. If you try and fail, you're just an unsuccessful criminal. It's not like, well, he didn't commit the crime. Yeah, but he tried, and we caught him. System works. That doesn't absolve you of what it was that you did. But his punishment was absolutely ridiculous and politically motivated. I mean, there are child rapists there are murderers who don't get the time in jail that Rod Blagojevich got. And he's out now. I think it was commuted. I think that finally, after years and years, even people who hated Rob Blagojevich, like myself, were like, that's not fair. That is not a fair sentencing. This guy is being victimized by politics, and he's spending his life. He's not a viable candidate for anything anymore. Although the former progressive Democrat Rod Blagojevich is now like hardcore MAGA. I think he sees that as his way back in, because those people will believe anything. Those people, any story he wants to tell them about how the deep state put him in the, dude's a shady politician, but he's trying to reinvent himself in that vein. So good for him. Couple of birthdays born on this day, 1942, the baddest man who ever walked the earth. Nah, I know I'm biased. I'm a Chicago Bear fan. Happy birthday, Dick Butkus. Dick Butkus was born on this day in 1942. One of my, he's in my top five favorite Bears of all time. I don't know if he's first. Well, first is obviously Walter Payton. Second is probably Gale Sayers. And then Butkus. I think I would put Butkus there. Not that I'm old enough to remember him playing. He retired when I was a very young kid. Same with Gale Sayers. But if you grew up around, older people, and I think most people grow up around older people. Really, Pugs? You mean people aren't raised by their contemporaries? No, you're raised by I grew up hearing the stories, the legends of Butkus, that whole thing. And there are quite a few of them. So happy birthday, Dick Butkus. On this day in 1953, John Malkovich, you think Christopher Walken's weird. Malkovich is weird. Everybody's like, Christopher Walken's a weird actor. He's got that weird, creepy thing. Not for my money. For my money, it's Malkovich. Malkovich is a great actor, but he's a weird guy. 1953, he was born. On this day in 1962, convicted felon Felicity Huffman. Is she a convicted felon? I mean, I know that she got caught up in that child school, pay my kid to go to Harvard, backroom deal stuff from a couple of years ago. She was convicted. I guess it's felony. Did she go to jail? I don't even know. Whatever. Felicity Huffman was born on this day in 1962. Born on this day in 1970. Here's one for me. This is one for me. You guys may not even know who this is. Born on this day in 1970, Lance Kroll. Lance Kroll is an actor. He's a director. He's a producer. He's a writer, screenwriter. Lance Kroll had a show on VH1 that absolutely nobody watched called Free Radio or Free FM or whatever. He played an intern who was at a radio station who was somehow elevated to the host of the morning show because the morning show host just left and they needed somebody. So they shoved this kid in there, this dude. He was so funny. He was just, you know what? I need to find out. What was it? Was it Free FM or was it Free Radio? Because I really would like you people, if you want to see something hysterically funny that nobody else knows about, you can go to Free Radio. It's Free Radio, the show that Lance Kroll was on. That's it. Free Radio on VH1. What did I just close out? I just closed out, I think, something important. Doesn't matter. And I'm telling you, this show was on maybe 12 years ago on VH1. And I saw this guy. He was totally unknown. Oh, hey, Pugs, he's still unknown. You're the only one who knows who this guy is. But when I saw him, I went, holy crap, this guy's going to be a megastar. It didn't work out for him. He's not a megastar. He's a writer now mostly, and he's written a bunch of stuff. He was one of the main writers on It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. So if you love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, a lot of that has Lance Kroll all over it. And then he did a bunch of other things. Apparently, he was the star of some show that I didn't watch called The Joe Schmo Show. Maybe more people saw that than Free Radio. But if you really want to see something funny this afternoon, if you just want to check out just absolute what I consider to be the height of American comedy of the last 20 years, go pull up some YouTube clips from Free Radio. Now, granted, Pugs, you worked in radio. You're a bit biased. I did, but I also hated morning jocks, and this show is so funny from the perspective of what idiots these morning zookeepers are. He plays a morning zookeeper, so enjoy that. Also born on this day, still alive, Simon Hedberg. Simon Hedberg, of course, Wolowitz on The Big Bang Theory. All right, so let's do now what we do here on this show. Let's talk a little bit about the things that are trending. Now, granted, there are a lot of things that are trending right now that we're not going to get into. We're not going to talk about any Korean pop bands. Typically, we don't talk about wrestling, but there is one interesting story coming from the world of wrestling. And we don't talk politics too much on this show. We try to stay away from it. Social issues are different. A lot of people blur the line between politics and social issues, but I make a distinction. So, we will get into some of that. And I guess the first one kind of falls into that. By the way, she mentioned Bob Dole is trending in state. Bob Dole died over the weekend, ran for president a bunch of times. He's lying in state, and people are gathering to pay their tributes and their, whatever to Bob Dole. All right. Lived a long life. Did a lot of things. Long-time senator. He's getting the greatest honor this country can provide a statesman, lying in state. Biden spoke. A bunch of people were speaking. What else? We got Mark Meadows stuff trending. Former chief of staff of the White House. We're not going to go into that. You may have noticed, Pugs never talks about the January 6th committee. I don't. Just let it play out. You don't need that from me. We're going to trend about stuff that I want you people to engage in with people you work with, people you run into. And I don't want you talking politics. I don't want you getting into politics. So if you don't know what the hell they're talking about, it's probably best, because 9 out of 10 times people start talking politics, they talk about shit that they just are parroting from bullshit sources. We wouldn't do that. I would hate to become another one of those bullshit sources. With that said, and this guy became super political. Don't know how this happened, because in my mind's eye, he was never really a political lightning rod, but he became one. Brian Williams is trending. Brian Williams' MSNBC show, The 11th Hour, which is a show that I have only caught on occasion. You folks know I don't watch MSNBC. I don't watch Fox News. I hate watch CNN, because for some reason I feel like CNN is in the middle there. But Brian Williams is ending his MSNBC, what would be called a comeback show tonight, the 11th Hour. The 11th Hour, again, that's the East Coast bias. We talked about the Central Time Zone. Comes on at 10 o'clock, 11th Hour, because I guess in New York, that's all that matters to people in New York. Brian Williams became a political lightning rod, because he, gotcha! We gotcha! Stupid liberal left-leaning NBC caved to some absolute. Brian Williams got accused of altering a story over the course of telling it for 13 years. And at some point, the final story in 2013 didn't precisely match up with the original story that he'd told since 2003 when the incident occurred. And, he was an NBC guy, and the Fox News, this is all Fox News driven. And Fox News, ironically, and Fox News just completely hammered him, and he's a liar. And, we lied about being in a combat zone. Sorta. I mean, but he seems to have done all the right things throughout the years leading up to the story. And it's such a minor infraction by today's standards. When you look at the stuff that people on Fox News have been saying now for the past 6 years, and you look at the stuff that you can hear on the OANs or the Liberty Networks or whatever these fly-by-night crazy made-up news networks are now, come on, man. I mean, what Brian Williams did wouldn't even be a blip on today's radar. You just can't. You compare it to what Cuomo did. Compare it to what I think was a very egregious breach of journalistic ethics. What Don Lemon recently did with sending Jussie Smollett these. But as I always like to say, the libs, they're the only people who find honor in falling on their sword. The slightest thing that a liberal is accused of, and I regret that I have done this horrible thing. When I was in the 5th grade in the lunch line at school, I forgot to pay the 5 cents for a milk. I just picked up the milk on my way out and I drank it. And I think you, the people of America, deserve somebody who will take responsibility for their milk stealing actions. And for that, I will resign the presidency. That is seriously what these morons have been doing for the past 6 years, because they believe that the people, we the people, give a shit about that. We don't. We give a shit about it when we hear it. Ooh, gotcha. Ooh, they got him. Did you hear? Gossip. He's a bad guy. Oh my God, he stole the milk in the 5th grade. What a terrible guy. And then we forget about it in 48 hours. You know who proved that? You know who proved that you can weather any storm if you can just get through the first 48 hours of it? Trump. One of the great things that he proved, at least to me, is that you don't have to quit. You don't have to step down. Somebody accuses you of something and says that you did it and they've got all this proof. Just go, shut up. And guess what? It goes away. It goes away. Nobody cares. We, the people, honestly do not care about these things. We care about the gotcha. We care about it in the moment. Oh, they got him. Whoa, what's that? And then we get distracted and we move on to the next thing. Trump was brilliant at that. He totally got that. And all of MAGA is brilliant at that. They completely understand that we, the people, but not the libs, the stupid, gutless, feckless libs. I will take responsibility for this, my people, and I will step down. Oh, shut up. Shut up. You're a dummy. What did Brian Williams do? Brian Williams, 2003, was in a helicopter convoy in Iraq, and the group of helicopters that he was with were fired on. His helicopter took gunfire, machine gun fire. That was reported by the pilots and all that stuff. And when it happened in 2003, reporting live from the scene, Tom Brokaw was the anchor at the time. He described it as a harrowing experience for our own Brian Williams. And then Brian Williams said exactly that. He said it was, the helicopter in front of us took mortar fire and had to land. Then, like 5 years later, a book was published by MSNBC. And it said, I believe that was the book that said that his helicopter he didn't write the book, but MSNBC published it, said that his helicopter took on the mortar fire. And then the book was criticized by the crew members of the plane. And he said, yeah, that's right. The book is incorrect. And then like 10 years after that, he was on David Letterman and he told the story again. And he said that his helicopter took mortar fire. All right. So you see how the story changed? It just changed over the course of a bunch of years. And that ended his career as anchor of the NBC Nightly News because liberals will not stand for this kind of egregious lie. Oh, shut up. We don't care. Nobody cares. And but he bounced back. And for the last few years, he's been doing this show on MSNBC, The 11th Hour, which, like I said, I don't really watch. I don't really MSNBC. I can't take that stuff. I can't. That is, I'm telling you. I just want to know the facts. I just want to know. Just give me the facts. And I ain't getting facts from MSNBC. I ain't getting facts from Fox News. And you know what? Honestly, and this is why I'm so depressed lately about my news choices. I ain't getting facts from CNN either. CNN is in bunker mode. They are just simply trying. Look at Pugs, promising he's not going to talk about these divisive issues. But whatever. All right, so that's why Brian Williams is trending. His show is over. Venmo it forward is trending. This trends like every week. Venmo. If you got Venmo, Venmo wants you to follow them on Twitter. And then they want you to forward the Venmo it forward hashtag. And maybe they'll give you money. I don't know. Never happened for me. I stopped doing it. I was like, yeah, man, I'll take like $100. I'll take 500. What we do. It's how we run the show on tips. I'll take it from wherever it comes. I never got a damn thing. So if you want to try, go ahead. That's why hashtag Venmo it forward is trending. Okay, here's a big one. This is another one that I don't know all that much about, but man, is it some creepy stuff. Josh Duggar. You like 48 Kids and Counting or something? Isn't he from like one of those gross, stupid people shows on TLC where you just get to watch people who have completely trashed their lives with terrible decisions? My 800-pound life. Hey, let's watch a fat person while we sit on our couches and eat. Hey, look, midgets are getting married. Let's watch that for an hour. What? These shows are just all so stupid. They're just exploitative and ridiculous. So Josh Duggar was on a TLC show where apparently he's one of like 60 kids. His parents, his mom's uterus is like a water slide. This kid, so Josh Duggar has been convicted of child porn. I don't know how that one goes over in prison. Good luck to you, Joshy. But before that, he was like in trouble for molesting his kids, or not his kids, his sisters growing up. This is why we pull the story up here, because when I just start riffing on these things, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Josh Duggar, however, though, former reality TV star, has been convicted. Reality TV star Josh Duggar convicted of child porn possession. I don't even know what that means. Hold on, sorry, gotta shut this down. Pop-ups, don't you know? The bane of all of our existence. Fayetteville, Arkansas, former reality TV star Josh Duggar was immediately taken into custody Thursday after a federal jury convicted him of downloading and possessing child pornography. So what are my thoughts on that? It's repulsive, for one thing. You guys know I'm not really a big sex guy these days anyway. So the very idea that you could find some form of sexual stimulation from prepubescent children, I think, where is the line? This is very troubling. Pornography is one of the biggest things in the world. It is. The access to pornography through, the different websites and all that stuff. The internet has really created a boom for porno enthusiasts. It's so accessible. I have no idea how to keep it from my 12-year-old son. I have no idea. You put child locks. That's how you do it. You got to make your lock. My kid knows way more about computers than I do. My kid can go into his computer and probably get rid of that child blocking stuff. Make sure your kid doesn't. He can probably get rid of that quicker than I would ever know. So I don't know how to do it. But why do I say there's a problem? I do not think there is a problem with grown adults using pornography. Okay? I don't. I'm not a prude. I don't have a problem with it at all. I know a lot of porn stars. Over the years of doing the shows here at Live 105.3, we were like a pipeline for any porn star that came into town. It was always. Now, you should also know that it wasn't like Kelly and my former partner Kelly. It's not like we went, let's get porn stars on the air. No, they were fed to us, and it was part of a deal because there were advertisers that were either, hosting meet and greets with these people or whatever. So they were almost always given to, and that's why they were on so much. We didn't, and one of the things that I'm proud of whenever we had porn stars on, adult film actresses, we never, and maybe this is because our show was female friendly as well as, being the show after Howard Stern and before Russ Martin. There was an equal partner in this venture. It wasn't my show. It was me and a woman named Kelly. And our executive producer was a woman named Sybil. So it was, they were cool chicks, cool chicks by pre-Me Too standards, I suppose. But cool chicks nonetheless, but still, there was never a situation when we had an adult film star on where we would go, all right, baby, whip him out. Let me see him. Oh, can I touch him? Ha ha, honk, honk. We never did that stuff. We always, my questioning of porn stars was always about, I was always interested in what the family was about. Like, what did you guys get? What was your dad? Does your dad know you do this? How's he with this? Is this weird? Do you have brothers? Like, your brothers must have friends who see you doing this stuff. Those were always sort of, and what I found out with a majority of these adult film stars is that they were really just normal people, and they were totally relieved when they weren't coming on the show and being asked to perform. So, and a couple of them became social friends, like people that we'd go out to dinner with, and we'd have the exception of Ron Jeremy. Ron Jeremy was always a sleaze. My partner, I got to give her credit for that. She saw Ron Jeremy for what he was from the very beginning. He was an interesting person, definitely. I got that whole vibe off him, but he was dirty. He smelled. He was just a gross guy. But then there were people like who do I say? Like Jessie Jane. Jessie Jane was just a really sweet girl. She was nice. She was friendly. When you removed her from the porn star box, she was just kind of a cool chick, who was fun to hang out with, who was no different than your best buddy's smoking hot girlfriend at the bar. She was a cool chick. Carmen Luvana. Carmen Luvana was one that I really liked. I really enjoyed hanging out with her. Eva Evangelina was probably the most open of all the porn stars in that she could talk about anything. She was really well-rounded. Like she knew she knew politics. I remember she got into some argument about First Amendment rights. And I was like, I'm having this conversation with an adult film star and she is wiping the floor with me. My goodness, was she articulate. Although she also told a story about being molested while eating cereal by her stepdad. So, that's, you take the good with bad. But she was open. She told everything. She was good. And some of them were dip craps. Some of them were just exactly what you'd expect. But, so I don't have a problem with pornography. What I do have a problem with is what seems to be a very big genre of pornography. And we're talking about the Josh Duggar situation. And that genre is there are a lot of porn stars that are cast in porn simply because they don't look legal age. Whether they call it barely legal, whether they call it jailbait, they dress these young. Now, they're all 18, that's the line of demarcation that we make. But sometimes you'll find an 18-year-old girl who looks like a 14-year-old girl. And that shit is so popular. That is really disheartening. That makes me, I like a woman. I like I like a lady. I like a real woman. I like round hips. Doesn't have to be a big top shelf, but I like a woman. I like somebody at least 30 years old who looks like, an 18-year-old girl. Like, isn't the biggest porn star in the world like this Riley Reid girl? And I, from what I understand, I read something about her a while back. She's like in her 30s. And she still looks like she's 17 years old or something. And that's why she's so popular, because she's got this like really youthful look. And that's not child porn. That is not. That is legal porn. These people are over 18 years of age. But man, they really seem to lean hard and play into this. If you are into child porn, have we got something for you? Ugh. Now, the case of Josh Duggar seems to be much more felonious, much more disgusting and disturbing. Maybe you can make an argument for someone who's 18 years old, and maybe you can make an argument for somebody who looks like a high school girl, a sexy girl in high school, because we all have memories of the smoke show girl that was in high school with us. So maybe you can't make it to me because I'm not going to buy it, but maybe you can straddle that fence and not be a despicable human being. But when you start getting turned on by babies, that's a severe mental break. That is a severe issue that you need to deal with. And I don't get, is it the thrill of that it's illegal? I've heard that argument from a lot of people that, many of these people who are involved with child porn and who like the child porn, it's not even about what the child looks like. It's about the illegality of the situation. They are turned on by doing something that is so despicable. Well, that you need to deal with that then. That is a whole thing. Yeah. All right, so let's get back to Josh Duggar and what he did, because his stuff was with babies. His stuff was with infants. The jury in Fayetteville, about 140 miles north of Little Rock, found the 33-year-old Duggar guilty on one count each of receiving and possessing child pornography. He faces up to 20 years in prison and fines of up to $250,000 for each count he's been sentenced to. So one count, Really? So he's got one count. So what? He's looking at 20 years in prison. He won't get that. And 250,000, he won't get that. Regardless of wealth, social status, or fame, our office will continue to seek out all individuals who seek to abuse children and victimize them through the downloading, possession, and sharing of child pornography, U.S. Attorney Clay Folks of the Western District of Arkansas said. U.S. District Judge Timothy Brook said sentencing will happen in 4 months. Why 4 months? We respect the jury's verdict, and we're looking forward to continuing this fight on appeal, said Justin Gelfand, one of Dugar's defense attorneys. Look, in America, everybody has a right to a defense. But man, oh man, I think it should be really hard to find a lawyer to defend you for these kinds of things. How do you sleep at night as an attorney? This guy is obviously guilty. His excuses are bullshit. He's got a history of molesting his own sisters. Dugar and his large Arkansas family starred on TLC's 19 Kids and Counting until the network canceled the show in 2015 following revelations that he had molested 4 of his sisters and a babysitter. Authorities began investigating the abuse in 2006 after receiving a tip from a family friend, but concluded that the statute of limitations on any possible charges had expired. So they started investigating this in 2006, and TLC let the show run for another 9 years. Cha-ching! 9 years of cash and checks, putting this guy who diddled his own sisters. Dugar's parents said he had confessed to the fondling of his sisters and apologized. At the time, Dugar apologized publicly for unspecified behavior and resigned as a lobbyist for the Family Research Council, a conservative Christian group. Telling you, man. Anybody that leans that, not going to go there. Dugar later apologized for a pornography addiction and for cheating on his wife, calling himself the biggest hypocrite ever. Yeah, well, you're up there, that's for sure. The judge in the child porn case ruled that jurors could hear testimony about how in 2003 Dugar admitted to molesting 4 girls. A family friend testified that Dugar told her about the abuse. Federal authorities said they began investigating after a Little Rock police detective found child porn files were being shared by a computer traced to Dugar. A federal agent testified in May that images depicting the sexual abuse of children, including toddlers, were downloaded in 2019 onto a computer at a car dealership Dugar owned. Dugar's attorney argued that someone else downloaded or uploaded the images onto Dugar's computer, but the jury wasn't swayed. Dugar's father, Jim Bob Dugar, who also starred on the reality show, is running in a special election for a vacant Senate seat, state Senate seat in Northwest Arkansas, and the primary election in that race is Tuesday. He previously served in the Arkansas House. All right, so there you go. That's the sort of disgusting story of why Josh Dugar is trending across multiple platforms today. Also, I think this happened in Oklahoma. We got a guy by the name of Bigler Stouffer. Bigler Stouffer is trending. Who's Bigler Stouffer, Pugs? Well, he's a linebacker out of Oklahoma State University. No, sounds like it, though. Bigler. Bigler is his name. When I hear someone with the name Bigler Stouffer, I'm either thinking NCAA All-American or just a big, dumb white Okie. And this is a big, dumb white Okie from Oklahoma. He's been he was executed today in Oklahoma. There was a last-minute appeal at the Supreme Court trying to get the stay of execution. That failed. And just after 10 o'clock Central Time, this dude was executed. Now, what did he do? And this is interesting to me. What did he do? In 1985, he went to his ex-girlfriend's house, ex being the key phrase here, his ex-girlfriend's house looking to murder her new boyfriend. It's one of these deals. If you guys won't kill that man, he been... Why? First of all, why are you mad at the new boyfriend? Why you should be mad at her? The new boyfriend is just, hey, I'm a guy. I'm looking for a girl to date. She seemed available. She said she was available. So this guy's a moron from the get-go. And this was in 1985. So he goes to the home of his ex-girlfriend looking to kill the boyfriend, the new boyfriend. And he inadvertently kills the girlfriend, the ex-girlfriend. Murdered her, shot into the house, killed her. wounded the boyfriend, but the boyfriend lived, and he was sentenced to death. Now, look, the guy's been in prison since 1985, right? He was convicted in 1985. He's been in prison. He's been on death row for, 20 and 35 years. 35 years he's been on death row. And they killed him today. Again, there are people who have done far more awful, ridiculous, disgusting, sickening things, crimes that they've been committed of, crimes that they've admitted to, that won't get the death penalty. 35 years this guy has been in prison. Stupid, dumbass. I mean, there's a dead person here. There's a young dead woman. She was 35 years old at the time. She'd be 70 years old now. 35-year-old woman. She's dead. That's an abhorrent crime. But look, I guess what I need to say is, and I've been consistent with this over the years. I do not believe in the death penalty. Whoa, but Pugs, I thought you were an agnostic. Yes, and that's exactly why I don't believe in the death penalty. I don't believe in the death penalty because I believe that it's us. It's up to us, humanity, to set the tone. It's up to us here on this plane of existence, this earthbound world, to have to make this place the heavenly paradise that everybody is waiting for. I mean, I guess I believe that we as human beings have created a civilized society. And if you violate the terms of use for this civilized society, your punishment is to be removed from the civilized society. You have blown your chance to be a normal, free-walking, free-thinking individual. You are no longer, you violated the terms of use. You stepped outside the boundaries of what civilized society is all about. And, so we're supposed to pay taxes and feed them forever? Yeah. A civilized society is not perfect. And there are things that we have to adhere to in order to keep the gears running. I simply do not believe, this is me, non-Christian church evangelical, raised Catholic, lapsed Catholic, agnostic seeker, believer in Jesus as one of the greatest philosophers the world has ever produced, one of probably the number one human being that has ever walked on this earth. But you see the distinction I make, human being, because I'm not entirely sure about all the other stuff, right? The other stuff seems a little fantastic to me, but that doesn't mean that I think that Jesus didn't exist or that his words weren't important. His words are incredibly important. Jesus seemed like a really good dude who had a lot of really good advice for how we as human beings should interact with one another. And I just don't think that Jesus, the philosopher, Planet of the Apes said it best. Ape never kill ape. Ape don't kill ape. Planet of the Apes, when they evolved to take over, they don't have no death penalty. They don't believe it's their right. It is not their right. What is their right is to make sure that the ape who would, under any circumstances in human law, be put to death, doesn't get to hang out with the other apes anymore. And that's just what I believe. So I am not comfortable with the taking of human life in any aspect. It doesn't matter. War, I am not comfortable with it in war. I understand that happens. But I would not, I always think that, if I went to war, I would probably just hide. Well, you're a coward. Well, maybe I'm a coward, but I just don't think that my conscience could deal with the fact that I ended someone's life, breathing, living, this electric spark, whatever it is that's inside of us. If you're a Christian, it's your soul. If you're a Buddhist, it's another thing. Whatever that is, this thing that creates us, that makes us who we are, that's the most precious thing that there is. And to take that from somebody, I just don't want to be around it. I don't want to be involved in it. I don't want to be. Now, I do make distinctions. Self-defense is a complete. Sometimes you have a right to your own sanctity of life. You have a right not to have it taken by some monster. And in those situations, absolutely, put a bastard down. Put one right in his head. If he's coming at me, if he's coming at my child, if he's coming at an innocent person, someone that I don't even know. If another human being if we're in a situation where that human being, their life is about to be taken by this person, this monster, this person who has violated the rules of civilized society or is in the process of it, yes, take him down. But I don't believe that a government or a panel of judges or anybody else has the right after the fact to say, well, this is what we do with him. No, the deed has been done. You don't, in my view, you don't make the deed any better by taking another life. You put him in a box. You make him human veal for the rest of his life. Prison sucks, man. They ain't nothing. And if, these guys, they can have lives in prison. Okay, so then we change that. I'm willing to talk about the cruel and unusual punishment aspects of prison. If we want to just put a guy in a 5x5 cell where, he can't even lay down for the rest, that's fine. But whatever, he gets quality life. I don't care about quality of life. I just care about life in general. I don't want to take the man's life. But put him in a box. Put him in a box and stow him away outside the rest of us here in civilized society. But again, now you got to pay to feed him. Okay. That's the price we pay for a civilized society. So Bigler Stouffer was put to death today. I mean, is anybody crying for him? It happened 35 years ago. I don't think so. But it still bothers me. I used to always say I would never get reelected as governor because anytime somebody came up to be executed under my watch as governor, I'd say, yeah, no, put him back in his box. I am not going to be the guy responsible for that person's death. As an agnostic, I don't know what's up there. I don't know what's next, but I just want my resume when I present it, should there be something next, to say that I never killed another one of God's creatures, that I never killed, you know what I mean? Human being, another human being. Again, we go back to the Planet of the Apes. They had it right. Ape no kill ape. Also trending today, this is ridiculous. This is another guy he's in a box for the next 200 years. Let's keep him there. I don't know why. Larry Hoover is trending today. Larry Hoover is trending alongside Kanye West and Drake. Why? Because tonight on Amazon, there is a live concert, a benefit concert to raise awareness about the plight of Larry Hoover. Now, last year, I saw some people online. The Pugs, you're getting upset by stupid things people online say? Yeah. Larry Hoover is trending. But also trending is Fred Hampton. People are confusing Larry Hoover with Fred Hampton. Last year, there was a movie that came out, a really good movie called Judas and the Black Messiah. And it was the story of Fred Hampton, who was a social rabble-rouser and leader of the Black Panthers in Chicago back in the 1960s and 70s. And he was murdered. He was murdered by police. He was a troublemaker. They wanted to get rid of him. This is Fred Hampton. And they murdered him. That's pretty much, any document that you can read on this that has come out over the last 50 years basically says, yeah, they murdered him. He wasn't put on trial. He wasn't arrested. He was murdered. That's Fred Hampton. People are confusing Fred Hampton with Larry Hoover. I'm seeing this online, and it's like, God, you people are so stupid. Larry Hoover is a monster. Larry Hoover is a gang leader from the south side of Chicago who ran a gang called, it's so convoluted. There are the disciples, there are the black disciples, there are the black gangster disciples, and there are the gangster disciples. Whatever. He led one of those groups, and he is famous for unifying all the street gangs in Chicago under one umbrella and basically controlling them like an insane mob of drug dealing. They were into arms dealing. They were into all kinds of awful murder for hire. They were bad dudes. And Larry Hoover was sentenced to prison for like 200 years. Oh, by the way, he was put in prison in the early 70s. He's been in prison forever. He has. He was sentenced to like 200 years in prison. He's been there for, here, look at this. We got ladies and gentlemen, let's bring Ian. Maybe you'll let me finish my little rant here on Larry Hoover. We're talking about Larry Hoover. E, welcome to the show.
All right. Well, Finish your rant.
Larry Hoover is trending because Kanye West and Drake are putting on a free concert for him tonight, and Amazon is sponsoring it. It's going to be on Amazon Prime. If you have it, you can stream it live. They're showing it. I'm explaining who Larry Hoover is. Larry Hoover. Well, here, you know what? Let's read about Larry Hoover. And first of all, fucking Kanye West is a maniac. This guy is an idiot. He is a brilliant music producer. But do you trust his would you let him cook for you? I wouldn't let Kanye West cook for me. He's, you're eating monkey ball. Yeah, I just don't trust this guy at all. He's not normal. He's a crazy person who has lucked into the fact that he can channel that crazy into some absolutely magnificent and timeless art. But he's a crazy person. Would you let Kanye West babysit your kids for the weekend? Hell no. I don't trust that. So Kanye West is all over this. Let's free Larry Hoover. Let's this and that. And look, I don't know who benefits by this. Larry Hoover ain't getting out of prison. What Larry Hoover has done is not anything he's going to get out of prison. But hey, look at Kanye. Kanye's got this big concert. A lot of people are going to watch it. It's publicity for him and his songs and all of this stuff. So let me tell you a little bit about Larry Hoover. Larry Hoover is an American gang leader, co-founder of the Chicago street gang Gangster Disciples. Hoover is serving 6 life sentences at the ADX Florence prison in Florence, Colorado. He was sentenced to 150 to 200 years for a 1973 murder, and in 1997, after a 17-year investigation of conspiracy and extortion, money laundering, and running a continual crime enterprise. Larry Hoover ran the streets of Chicago from behind bars since 1973. All of this crime, all of the shit that happens in the neighborhood of Inglewood and the other South Side terrible neighborhoods, that's all Larry Hoover's doing. He is the architect of all of this bullshit. And now you got Kanye West and Drake doing a concert for him. In 1974, after the leader of the Black Disciples, David Barksdale, died from kidney failure. Well, that's an interesting way for a gang leader to go, isn't it? Kidney failure? By an injury due to an earlier shooting. There we go. There we go. It wasn't just like Walter Payton's kidney failure. This was due to a bullet that apparently went through him. Hoover took the reins of the Black Gangster Disciples Nation. At the time, the group had control of Chicago's South Side. Under Hoover's rule, the Black Gangster Disciples took over the entirety of the South Side drug trade. While incarcerated, Hoover helped form the Folks Nation. Folks Nation in Chicago. There's people and there's folks. Those are the two. That's the Coke and Pepsi of the gang nations. And gang nations are a combination of all the individual gangs under one corporate banner. Does that make sense?
Kind of.
Yeah, so you could have the Wild Shamrocks and the Latin Disciples and the Black Disciples, and they're all individual street gangs, but they work for a common cause under this folk nation. They don't kill each other. They don't go to war with each other. They divvy up territories, that kind of thing. And the mafia does that too. The mafia.
Well, yeah. But there are parts of town that are yours and parts of town that are the other gangs. And when the other gangs infringe on your part of town, then you can have a gang war.
Oh,
I don't understand
happens regularly.
I don't understand how they're all together, but they're not, but they are.
Yeah. As it turns out, the formation of the Folks Nation and then the subsequent form of the People's Nation, the competing nation to Larry Hoover's Folks Nation in Chicago.
So that would be like if you had the Crips and the Bloods, they're obviously not together. One would be under the Folks Nation and one would be under the other. Okay.
Unless
the head mob boss, and then you got all the other lieutenants.
And everybody in the individual gangs, they kick up to the head mob boss because he's the guy in charge. But imagine if there was some transcendent figure who arose in Los Angeles and could unify the Crips and the Bloods. I mean, that's basically what Larry Hoover did in Chicago in the 1970s. So anyway, he's in prison. He's never getting out. He's been convicted at 200 years he's looking at. He's been there since 1973. He was running the gangs up until the early 2000s. And Kanye's doing a concert for him because he was wrongfully convicted. This crime, his punishment is too much. We are still living and existing, people in the South Side of Chicago, certain neighborhoods, Not mine, crazily enough. I mean, there are pockets where it's totally safe, but you don't cross the street after a certain time. You don't go to that drugstore on that corner that's only 2 blocks away from your house, even though it's convenient. You don't go to that one. You have to go to the other one. Those are just the rules of a big city, the rules of the neighborhood. So tonight, y'all can patronize that if you want. But I'm a pass. I'm a pass on the Kanye West Drake concert in benefit of.
Well, have they unearthed some evidence that he was wrongly accused or wrongly charged, or they just think the charge was too severe?
No. Yeah. No.
I mean, you can cut it down from 200 to 100 years.
Let's do that. Fine. I'm willing to compromise. That's fine. Let's make it 100 years, starting now, though. Okay, we're not going to backtrack to 1970.
Well, even if you did, I mean, chances are he's still not. Nobody's going to outlive 100.
Let's see. On October 11th, 2018, during a luncheon with President Donald Trump, Kanye West pleaded for clemency for Hoover. Do you remember when Kanye went and met with Trump?
Yeah, when he was thinking of running for president.
Crazy ass Kanye. That's what this was about. Crazy ass Kanye wanted Trump. Trump. First of all, whatever you think of Trump, he ain't letting Larry Hoover out of jail. There ain't no way that is ever happening. Larry Hoover is one of the worst and most violent gang members the city of Chicago has ever produced. On October 11th, 2018, during a luncheon with President Donald Trump, Kanye West pleaded for clemency for Hoover. On November 20th, 2021, West and rapper Drake announced that they would stage a benefit concert scheduled for tonight, December 9th. So that's why Kanye is trending. That's why Larry Hoover is trending. I just thought you ought to know a little bit about who Larry Hoover is. And, before you tune in and give Amazon your money, how about that? How about the largest company in the world getting behind this?
Are they behind it, or are they just behind Kanye and Drake?
Well, exactly. Why aren't they taking a 30,000-foot view of this? Yes, Amazon's like, oh, we want people to tune into our streaming platform to see Kanye and Drake, but shouldn't they have gone, wait, what is this about? This is about, are you telling me that if Kanye and Drake wanted to do a concert for Josh Duggar, who we just talked about, who was convicted of child porn, Amazon would be like, okay, yeah, fine, as long as people are tuning in to see Kanye and Drake. I mean, this is really just gross. This is not a good thing.
I mean, you can't really control, though.
Of course you can. You can
the artists when they're on stage as to who they're going to do or give shout outs to, but certainly here it seems like they've telegraphed that early. So I get what you're saying.
For Larry Hoover is what it's called. Amazon presents a benefit for Larry Hoover with Kanye and I mean, it's madness. But it also goes to what I was saying earlier about us, about we the people. We don't care. We don't care. It seems like we should care, but we don't care. We're going to watch it because we want to watch Kanye. We're able to make a distinction between what Kanye is trying to achieve here and hearing Gold Digger live on our streaming platform. You know what I mean? That's who we are as people. We just need to lean into that. And Amazon understands that. Amazon's like, whatever. We're not supporting it, but actually you are supporting it because they're going to raise money for this off of people seeing it on your platform.
Where's that money going to go?
No idea. No, it's Kanye. Who knows? I don't know.
Right? Are they paying for his defense?
I don't know.
Or his
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know, right? It's Kanye. And how did Kanye hoodwink Drake into this? Drake doesn't seem like a crazy person like Kanye. I mean, I get this with Kanye. Kanye is an idiot. Well, he's a genius. He's a genius, crazy person. And I understand how he could somehow justify this or maybe find some sort of power in being this provocative. I mean, Kanye's always been a provocative guy.
Well, I think it's
on people hating him.
Well, I think it's probably because Kanye's from Chicago. Larry
but
Hoover's from Chicago. So that's probably how that got hooked up. But why?
I don't know.
Why Drake is in that? I would just assume maybe because he's in Kanye's music orbit.
Yeah, He wants to be associated with Kanye for some reason. All right, also trending today, Sex and the City is trending high. Why? Because HBO Max has a new Sex and the City series that apparently is dropping, as the kids say, tonight. This one is called And Just Like That. It is a sequel to Sex and the City. The new series, And Just Like That, is a continuation of the gals. It's Sex and the City. Thoughts? You want to give me a few thoughts on Sex and the City?
Sold a lot of Milano Blahnik shoes. I know that.
Hated that show. I absolutely hated that show. Here's what Sex and the City is. Sex in the City is to toxic feminism what Sons of Anarchy was to toxic masculinity. It is, they're polar opposites. Well, femininity and masculinity are total opposites. But that's what it is. The way the absolute worst dudes were like completely freaky in love with Sons of Anarchy, the absolute worst chicks were freaky in love with Sex in the City. I just always felt that Sex in the City. First of all, what are you? Are you a Miranda? Are you a Charlotte? Are you a Carrie? What are you?
Me? I don't know anything about it other than I know Sarah Jessica Parker's in there.
Carrie.
And that one girl that was kind of slutty all the time.
The old sex lady.
It seemed like she was sleeping around.
Kim Cattrall. She's not in this one. She's for some reason not in this one. I don't know why. She dead? I don't know.
I just remember like those were the two, and then there was like Mr. Big, who was Sarah Jessica Parker's.
Yeah, Chris Noth. I like him.
He was her, I guess, on again, off again, finally again boyfriend. And then I remember the dude that was doing the Ford commercials, and then he got married to Bo Derek. He had like kind of a stint in there where he became, I think, her boyfriend. What was his John?
I just think that Sex in the City, all the worst women I knew were crazy about Sex in the City. Now, granted, every woman I dated was like Sex in the City. I don't know a woman that didn't like Sex in the City, but in particular, the worst women I knew were really into it. The most vain, the most shallow, the most cruel. They all just loved the whole thing of Sex in the City. I just found all of these women to be gross. I just found them all to be. And
I remember it like,
I mean, gross in a humanity way. They just all seem so.
Yeah, I don't think I ever watched like a whole show, but
I watched like 2 episodes.
It seemed to me like they were always having like typical girl type issues with men, or who was doing this, or who was having a bad day, or who was being catty to who.
Now look, I'm not saying it's a dangerous show. I'm not saying you can't like it. I'm just saying that for me, it just, I didn't like these women at all. They were mean. They were arrogant. They were elitist. They were just, everything about them wasn't cool. And yet it seemed to inspire an attitude among women of that era that I just found, really? Now you're going to drink $15 drinks because you saw it on Sex in the City? Really? You think that shoes should cost $800? Really? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Now, what I do like is I enjoy the comparisons between the early 2000s Sex in the City, a feminist clarion call that show was, and the one that came like 10 years later, which is Girls, which was the Lena Dunham show, which I also didn't like, but at least I see some things about Girls that were a little bit more normal than Sex. Like Girls was Sex in the City, except that they were all real women living in shitty apartments in New York, who had jobs that weren't glamorous and fantastic and, all of these things. They were waitresses and shit like that. So, I mean, I don't know. But that's how women have changed over the years. Like the women who were inspired by Sex in the Cities are like the older sisters and maybe even moms of the girls who were inspired by the show that came 10, 15 years later, Girls. I just always found that interesting. I want to be clear that HBO Max's 10-episode And Just Like That is not a Sex in the City reboot. It's also neither a revival nor a reimagining. Sure, the new show shares DNA with the polemic and revolutionary HBO comedy that aired from 98 to 2004. Only 6 years. Wow. I guess I didn't realize that. I thought that show was on for much longer than 6 years. Only felt like it. And spurred an entire generation's obsession with Cosmos, designer shoes, and Manhattan brunches. And just like that, doesn't even attempt to resurrect Millennium nostalgia. Its developers, including original showrunner Michael Patrick King, that's another thing. I don't like that guy. That guy is irritating. And its 3 main stars know the world is not the same. They don't want it to be the same. The 2 shows are built around most of the same characters, but the flounce and fizziness of the original series are largely absent from this moodier and more self-serious one. All right, so I won't read the whole article. I read this article earlier this morning over coffee. I hate Reddit. I'm going to check out the new series. Because the new series in this article, as it continues, you can read it for yourself. This is out of the Hollywood Reporter today. This new series seems to admit all the things that I hate about the original series. It seems to admit that it was unrealistic, that it set some really dangerous standards for women, and this new one is more about what these women are like in their 50s, having the experiences and the behaviors that they did back in their earlier years. So I'm kind of interested in that, although old sex lady isn't in it. And that would be, I don't know who, Kim Cattrall. She's not in it.
Yeah, I thought I remember that they had like some off, like series drama, like they don't like each other in real life. Maybe now.
Wow.
Maybe that's why she didn't come back.
That she must really not like her, because this is a payday for a bunch of women who have not exactly had blockbuster careers following this.
But do you need to have one after you've had a series like that? Like they're probably still cashing checks.
I love you, Adam. I love this. Pugs is way off on this. How can I be fucking way off on an opinion about a TV show that I didn't enjoy? You're way off for feeling the need to criticize me for it. You're the one who's being this. You're tuning into this. This is my opinions. I would love, and I want Adam Moreno to do a stream just so that I can be in his chat room and say that every one of his opinions that are his own opinions are way off.
Well, I mean, I think you're he's just saying that you think that it sucks and that you're off.
Yeah, no, yeah. What I think is off is what he's telling me.
But I mean, normally I think you are looked at, as somebody who's generally got it down when it comes to TV series and movies. Like that's your bag. Like you said, if there were something you're good at watching TV. And I think most people that listened would agree to that. But
we don't have to agree on everything.
But I think that here, with your professionalism of TV watching, they're saying that you're off base.
I think it's also fair to say that...
and you're probably not the demographic for it.
That's what I was going to say. They are not on any level trying to appeal to me. They are not. They are not trying. They never have been trying to appeal with that show to men. But, okay, Leslie McDaniel says, Pugs, don't bother watching the reboot if you haven't watched the original series. Well, this article from the Hollywood Reporter says that that's really not something, because this is not about the original series. This is about these women are completely different here. So I am interested, and I will, just for pop cultural knowledge, I will watch an episode. I will check out an episode. If it's interesting, I'll continue watching. I may shock you all by saying, you know what? I like these women. I like this incarnation of these women. I didn't like the meanness of the old ones. I didn't like the shallowness of the old ones. I didn't like the elitism of the old ones.
How is it, though, that you're going to get all the gang back together minus one, and then you're going to try to couch it as, well, it's got nothing to do with the other one? I mean, it almost has to have something to do with the other one.
Oh, is Adam still playing nice? He just said my opinion is sexist and incorrect. How declarative does one get? My God.
Dude, if you're like going to read the chat room comments, you're not going to be able to, just like.
That's why I would die if Adam ever stopped tuning into this show. Because honestly, he is one of those people that makes me, I read, like, he's wrong about a lot of shit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, he's fucking way off base on a lot of shit. I mean, I like him. I've been dealing with him for 20 years. I mean, he's my guy. Don't get me wrong. But yeah, he's way off base on a lot of this stuff. and I need his being off base to know that I am correct in my center.
But you're
I
never
need
off
that.
base. You could be off base too, though.
I know, of course, we're all off base. These are opinions. These are opinions that I have formulated based on my life experiences, and my life experiences cannot be the same as somebody else's. That's why we have differences of opinions.
I mean, your life experiences are very. Your female interactions in your life experiences over the last 10 years are very limited.
What are you talking about? My mom's my best friend.
Yeah, but again, your mom's demographic, it's like.
All right, I see what you're saying. Hey, that's not true. We're at a restaurant with a whole bunch of women. Young girl. I know what the young girls are into. How do you think I started watching girls? I had a
you had a 14-year-old
told me I need to start watching girls.
You had like a 14-year-old receptionist girl or 15-year-old.
17. She was awesome. She was smart. She was clever.
She couldn't drive.
Nah, she couldn't. That's another weird thing that I wanted to talk about because somebody was, I think it was Corby on the ticket was talking about this. Do you know, and this is how we'll get off of this, but look, I am married to the opinion that toxic femininity was completely at the basis of Sex in the City in the exact same way. No, toxic femininity was at the basis of Sex in the City in the exact same way that toxic masculinity is at the base of Sons of Anarchy. But guess what? I love Sons of Anarchy. I love the motorcycle gang show. Where they
See there, I think people. It just shows you that they're dialing into your male, but you don't have the female.
Exactly. So how can I be wrong? You might disagree with me.
You can be wrong because you just don't.
I can be wrong based on what your life experiences and your opinions of this same thing are. But I can't be wrong as far as I feel. This is how I feel. This is how I feel. This is not like a math question. There is not an absolute correct answer here.
Well, I mean, it's almost like asking an apple if you like the taste of an apple, but you're a pineapple.
No. What you're looking for is, I'm not wrong. You may disagree, and I may disagree with you on this. But wrong means that there is an absolute correct answer. And whether or not Sex and the City was a good show, that is relative. There is no absolute. The Godfather has people who think that movie sucks. There is no absolute. We're talking about art. We're talking about creation. We're talking about things that we all see and then process differently. And however our life experiences shows us to process it, that makes up our opinion. So I can't be wrong. You can disagree, and that's fine. Okay. That's the problem with the world we live in. There is no right. Everybody's wrong. You can't just go, well, that's a shit opinion. Let's move on to something else. Because it very well may be, in your estimation, a shit opinion. And I'm comfortable with that. Hell, James Parker had a shit opinion the other night. But I'm the bad guy. James Parker out here blowing heat, destroying the egos and
I'm still not over that one.
I'm the bad guy because I thought the girls in Sex and the City were mean, and that's wrong. Oh, but it's a good show. Because I'm a feminine guy. I'm not a feminine guy.
Who are they mean to, though?
They were catty. They were all these.
I mean, they remained friends for like a whole 10 years. At least they wrote them that way.
Adam, the show was about how women navigate the world in their 30s and 40s that is dominated by men. It was of its time and spot on. Oh, shut up. You have never been to Manhattan. You've never hung out with women like that. You have no clue if it was spot on. They don't even admit it was spot on, Adam. They admit it's a fantasy, and that's why they're creating this new show, which is sort of apologizing for how ridiculous their behavior was in the first one. Stop it! We'll move on.
I think you're losing this one.
Well, yeah. Bunch of feminine dudes and ladies are coming at me. That's fine.
I know my wife loved the show.
So did every woman that I know. Yes, I know. I know. Every woman that I know loved that show. I'm not sure that Kelly was. I don't think that Kelly was a big Sex and the City fan. I think she maybe saw an episode here and there, but she wasn't one of these crazy oh, it's so realistic. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's
Well, I
not
think
realistic.
it got in touch with their feelings. Because in order for you to go, oh, I really like it, and they're portraying people in different scenarios and how the girls would act, you know.
I think it tapped into a Cinderella complex. I think that's what Sex and the City did. I think it tapped into a fantasy of what, if I ran off to New York and got a job at a big Manhattan newspaper and became a famous columnist and saw myself on bus billboards and that doesn't happen for anybody. That happens for nobody.
I think it reminded
Girls happens for people.
It reminded girls
borrowing money from your parents and working at restaurants. That's what that experience is.
Like girls, I think would like have they've got a group of friends, right? And then one would be the Sarah Jessica Parker, one would be the Kim Cattrall, one would be like they saw each other as, well, this is more your personality, and this is how you relate to your boyfriend, and this is how you relate to your, guy, and this is how you handle these situations. Like I think they all kind of had their, well, I'm Kim
if
and
you're
you're
beautiful,
Sarah.
wealthy, and privileged.
If
you're beautiful, wealthy, and privileged, that's how you handle these situations. Look, it is April's birthday, and I have upset April, and that was not my goal. Wanted April to have the best day imaginable, and here I am revealing myself as someone that she will never sit on a couch with and watch reruns of Sex and the City with.
Yeah, so like I don't think like relationships necessarily have anything to do with the amount of money you have. It's the way that the girls would handle those relationships and how those guys would act in those relationships, similar to, I think people saw how their boyfriends were.
Here's what I'm gonna do for you people. I have HBO Max. I'm gonna start binge watching Sex and the City. It's only 6 seasons.
Not.
Yes, I am. And every night, every show, maybe this will be a pillow.
It's gonna last as long as the potato diet.
Well, I don't know how long I can take it. I don't know how long I'll be able to take it.
Like I said, it's gonna last as long as the potato diet.
I'll tell you what, for you folks, admitting, because I am a benevolent soul, I will acknowledge that maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was just in a place back then that, I was, not who I am now. After the show today, I don't know, maybe. Yeah, probably not today. God, this is like a job. like now I gotta watch. I'm supposed to be writing a book. I'm only writing like 5 bios a day. Now I gotta fit in Sex and the City reruns. I'm gonna watch a Sex and the City rerun.
I mean, 5. If you're doing 5 bios a day, that's good compared to what you've been doing. So keep it up.
Dude, there was a period when I first got down here, I was writing. I was cranking out like 10, 15 a day, and that was really good stuff. And then, Mr. Fun Guy, Fun Uncle, has a jet ski thing. And suddenly, I decided to enjoy life a little bit and took a break from Then this whole project came about, and I started doing nothing but prepping for all this time. And then I was exhausted. And yeah, no, you're right. I've got till spring training.
Just keep up with the 5.
I've got till spring training to finish the book, and I'm going to do it. I'm close. I'm into the 1960s, dude. I'm close. I'm almost 100 years into the history of this team. I'm close. All right, so I'm going to do that. I am going to begin. Because you people, because I respect you people, and because you are right. I've only seen a handful of episodes. I will attempt to rewatch Sex and the City, and I hope that you believe that I will be honest, that I will absolutely share with you my true and honest. And instead, you know what we're going to do? Because you people are so awful. We're not going to do a moment of joy anymore. We're not. I'm going to open every show with my review of a different episode of Sex and the City.
Yeah, right.
Joy is dead. It's over with. Tartan says, of course it was a fantasy, the way Sons of Anarchy was a fantasy version of an outlaw life. Yeah, Sons of Anarchy was awesome. Sons of Anarchy was cool. And I know that, boy, if I didn't like the Sex and the City girls because they were mean and awful, how could I possibly justify enjoying Sons of Anarchy? Those people were murderous criminals. I'm a guy, barely a guy, but I am a guy. I am built, the insides are all male, even if the outside. All right, what else is trending? Travis Scott is trending today. He of the Astro World debacle tragedy really is what it is. I don't mean to. I'm trying to tamp it down because I just had a little fun with my Sex and the City spin. Very serious subject. Travis Scott is talking for the first time ever. He's talking with Charlemagne the God. Do you know who Charlemagne the God is?
I don't. I can only imagine.
Most powerful man in American radio today. Regrettable name, but he's the new Oprah. He is the guy. People, especially people in the hip hop world or in.
He calls himself Charlemagne the God.
He does. He calls
not
himself
Charlemagne the guy.
No, Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne the God, and I don't like the name. I don't like the name, but whatever. It's modern. It's he's like it's like a hip hop guy going by. Like, would you
Definitely
think?
memorable.
Yeah. But dudes, in all seriousness, he's terrific. He is so good. He is so smart and well read. He's like, imagine if Dick Hunter was a black guy from New York who was doing a radio. I mean, he's just a really smart, interesting guy, and he's like the Howard Stern of urban radio. And he's crossed over.
By the first name. Charlemagne had me thinking it was a girl's name.
Well, Charlemagne is, of course, the French emperor who gave rise to the Charles dynasty. Charlemagne, Charles the First, Charles the Second, all of that. I believe Charlemagne was the guy famous for crowning himself emperor by taking the crown out of the hands of the Pope, because the Pope was supposed to place it on your head, and Charlemagne said, "Nah, fam," boom, and took it.
I guess
and put
it
on
might
his
be
head.
just the Charlotte thing. I don't know. For some reason, Charlemagne to me just sounds
Charlemagne
female,
the
but
God.
well, no biggie. Not that I met her.
According to Wikipedia, Leonard Larry McKelvey, known professionally as Charlemagne the God, is an American radio, television personality, and author.
So maybe you've heard of his show, The Breakfast Club.
I've heard of the movie The Breakfast Club.
Yeah, no, his show it's not the Charlemagne the God show. It's called The Breakfast Club. He's the host of it. It's in every city in America. It is, it's as big as Howard Stern was. It's just not. Howard Stern was big for white guys in their, 30s and 40s. And this is a show for the hip hop generation, and it's everywhere. His name is Leonard McKelvey, known professionally as Charlemagne the God, is an American radio, television personality, and author. He is co-host of the nationally syndicated radio show, The Breakfast Club. All three of them were inducted, and he's already in the Radio Hall of Fame. He's already in the Radio Hall of Fame. There are people who have to be doing it for 20 years to get in. He's in after like 10 years. He also hosts the late night talk show, The God's Honest Truth, on Comedy Central. Prior to his work on The Breakfast Club, he worked as a radio personality for several radio stations and also spent time as a second mic on The Wendy Williams Experience. He is the founder of the Black Effect Podcast Network and was featured on Guy Code, Guy Court, and Girl Code. He was also a VJ for This Week in Jams with DJ Envy. In the shock jock tradition, one of McKelvey's personal mantras is "bite my tongue for no one." He was called hip hop's Howard Stern by Rolling Stone magazine. He's really good, man. He's really good, and I know that he's not. I'm a 50-year-old white guy, but I am a radio person. And when I listen to him, I go, wow, he's good. He's really good. It's not stupid. It's not lowest common denominator. It is really elevated conversation. So anyway, that's Charlemagne the God. Charlemagne sat down with, here, we'll pull it up. Sat down with Travis Scott. Travis Scott gave his first interview on the Astro World thing to Charlemagne the God, who we were just talking about. And went a little something like this. We'll give you a little taste of it. Why not? I just don't find it. I'm sorry. I got so distracted by the Sex and the City talk that I lost. I lost track of what I was doing next. And he's really good looking too. He's like a really good looking guy. Which, usually.
Well, if you're going to go around as the God, you gotta have something going for you.
You better
have a lot going for you.
All right, here we go. This is excerpts from the interview that Charlemagne the God had with Travis Scott today. All right, is it sharing? Can you see it?
It is.
All right, here we go. That's Charlemagne right there.
But that night, man, when did you find out things got as bad as they did? That's the question everybody wants to know.
Yeah, it wasn't really until minutes until the press conference until I figured out exactly what happened. You know, even after the show, you know, you just kind of hearing things, but you don't know. I didn't know the exact details until
What's
like, a
that
few
thing
minutes before
hanging
the
down
press
between
conference.
his legs?
Yeah, I don't know,
And
right?
even at that
Belt?
moment, you kind of just like, wait, you know, what? Like, you know, you just went through something, and it's just like, wait, what? You know.
So you didn't know people that actually passed away and stuff?
Nah.
Wow.
Until minutes before, you know, which is, yeah, you know, and the thing is, like, you know, people pass out, you know, people, you know, things happen at concerts, but something like that, it's just like.
Yeah, people said they collectively heard folks screaming help every time you stopped the song to get your attention. Did you hear any of those screams?
Nah, man. And you know, it's so crazy because I'm that artist too. Like, you know, anytime you can hear something like that, you want to stop the show. You want to make sure, you know, fans get the proper attention they need, you know. And anytime I could see anything like that, I did, you know. You know, I stopped it like a couple times to just make sure everybody was okay. And I just really just go off the, you know, the fans' energy as a collective, you know, call and response. And I just didn't hear that. You know, I got music, I got my in-ears, but I just didn't hear that, you know?
Break that down a little more. Like nobody knows what it's like being on stage except for other artists. So speak to us from that perspective of what you can see and hear. It was like, what, 50,000 people?
Yeah, I mean, you got like a venue, you know, filled with like 50,000 people. But it's like a sea. You got lights, you got sound, you got pyro, you got your in-ears, got your sound, got your mic, you know, got the music, you got band, there's all type of, you know, stuff going on.
So it's hard to tell excitement from danger, so to speak?
Yeah, of course. Everything kind of just sounds the same. And at the end of the day, you just hear music, you know? And when you do, you just hear monks of.
All right, so that's what Travis Scott is saying about why he didn't react when there were people. Now, bit of revisionist storytelling going on here because we played the video of people screaming, "Stop the show, stop the show," and him responding to them, misinterpreting their intent. Remember, he thought they were heckling him. And so his response to the people screaming, "Stop the show," was, "Oh, you want me to stop the show? Well, you don't like," he was going into this whole thing. Like, he thought they were heckling, but he literally addressed the people. There's video of this. We played it on the show. So for him to now say that he didn't hear that, well, I mean, there's video that shows that you did hear something, that you did respond to some ruckus, some commotion. You misinterpreted it. And that's okay, I can understand that you misinterpreted it, but to say that you completely were unaware of anything going on because of the music and the lights and the crowds making noise and the ear things, that's a bit disingenuous.
Well, I think he said no. He said that he did respond to things that he heard. He just didn't hear everything. And I think if you're him and you hear people going, "Stop the show," you're probably going to think it's more of the heckler than you are that somebody's dead.
Which he appeared to believe. Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Right. But I'm just saying, if I did hear that, I don't think my normal instinct is, oh, somebody's dead or somebody's dying or, has gotten shot or, whatever it is that the bad thing that's happened. I don't know that that's your first knee-jerk reaction. I mean,
I don't know. I'd be interested in seeing the full video. I want to know what's going on with that guy. All right. So that's,
and he does seem to be well-spoken there and, contrite.
Well-spoken. What are you, Jimmy the Greek? That's
well.
that's
I mean,
what are you surprised?
No.
A young black man?
No, what I'm saying is he doesn't seem like he's like, hey, this is what I do. This is my show. Like he seems to really be.
He's being serious. He's addressing it seriously, and without any of the affectations that come along with being a hip hop icon.
Right.
Where, none of the fronting as kids in the 90s might have said. Yeah. I mean, look, he looks. I was gonna say he looks to be taking the situation seriously, which is good, but he's also facing a boatload of trouble in relation to it. So we'll see how that goes. But it's the first interview that he's done on the subject, and apparently he sat down with Charlemagne the God for over an hour. So I'm gonna try and find that entire interview because I want to see.
I've actually never. I mean, I've heard a lot of his music, but I've not actually ever heard him speak. And I guess the music did have me thinking I was dealing with, one person versus the person that I just saw there in the interview.
Performers have an act, and it's the act that the public consumes. It's not necessarily the guy sitting down to breakfast that we're familiar with. So,
like, I was expecting more of like a Lil Wayne interview.
Okay, Lil Wayne seems authentic. Yeah, all the time.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
like I thought that was more the character that I was going to get
Right.
than that Travis Scott.
Well, look, I'll be honest with you. Until Astroworld, I knew the name Travis Scott. I knew it was out there in the pop cultural lexicon. I knew that it was something. But if you had given me a choice, Travis Scott, hip hop artist or power forward for the Phoenix Suns, I'd have gone power forward because I knew he was involved with a Kardashian, and I thought that they only dated NBA players.
Well, but one dates Travis Scott and the other one dates Devin Booker.
Yeah. Well, and also, Travis Scott isn't a traditional name for a hip hop artist. It is the name. It does sound like a name of an NBA player more so than
or the name of a jewelry maker, Kendra Scott.
Let me just tell you, Charlemagne the God is more of a traditional name for a hip hop artist, not Travis. Travis is all right. Also trending today, multiple times. Letitia James is trending and Tish James is trending. Why is she trending? Well, she is the New York State's Attorney General. She is trending today because she has subpoenaed Donald Trump to testify in her fraud investigation, which is looking into where all of the Trump Foundation money and all of that goes. Now, why is it important? Because the civil fraud investigation is a linchpin that connects directly to the criminal inquiry that is going on. So she's subpoenaed him. He's going to have to be deposed. Good luck. Exactly. This is good luck. I was going to say about Travis Scott, he seems to be in a lot of trouble, but in this day and age, nobody's held responsible for anything anymore. Who knew that you could just say, piss off with that, and everything would be fine? I mean, do you remember when Congress would subpoena the heads of the mafia, an organization that didn't even supposedly exist, and even the heads of the mafia would show up and testify in front of Congress? Apparently, all they had to do was go, nope, and then they would get arrested, like Steve Bannon did, immediately bailed out, and then apparently there'd be nothing. There'd be nothing else that could be done to them.
Well, I think it's basically the piss off. I'm gonna get arrested. You're then going to set me for some kind of a trial. I then hire an attorney in order to prepare for that trial.
And you're going to lose interest.
There's then going to be a new election cycle. And if I can ride out that election cycle and it changes from the current people that are in power to my people that are in power, then nothing's going to happen.
That's it. Look, I'm just telling you, any big trouble that anybody seems to get into nowadays, there is no accountability. There is no repercussions that come from you just going, piss off. It used to be, okay, well, you must cooperate because at the end of this train, it's going to look good that you cooperated. And now they're learning, I'm never going to cooperate. There is no end of this train. Piss off.
Well, but I think if we have another Democratic president, you're going to, Democrat as a president, you're going to have enough time to have passed in the court system that they might have to pay the piper.
Yeah, really? Will we get a different attorney general than Merrick Garland, who I swear to God, as every day ticks by, I am glad he's not on the Supreme Court. This feckless weenie refuses to pull the trigger on any of these things. He won't say if there will be any kind of repercussions legally for these people who are just telling the January 6th committee to piss off. He's refusing to do anything. What is going on?
Well, he certainly is a lot different than Bill Barr. I'll say that.
Right? Bill Barr was a hammer of the gods compared to, and look, for his people, he was a bit, seemed to be only working for one side of the aisle. But Merrick Garland ain't doing anything. This freaking guy, politics, I'm not getting into politics. This guy, screw it. Imagine him on the Supreme Court, this wishy-washy, feckless little, intellectually we must, shut up. Stop with that. You're not a law professor. You're the Attorney General of the United States. All right, so Tish James is going to try and subpoena Trump. She's already, she has subpoenaed him. She's going to try and get him to testify via deposition in the fraud investigation, and he is absolutely not going to do it. Pfizer, hey, check this one out today. Pfizer CEO is trending. You know why? Pfizer CEO says, you're going to need a fourth shot. What a surprise. The guy who makes and charges for the shots says we're going to need another one. Another round for the world. That's who's buying.
I mean, this has turned into the cold season with COVID, I mean.
I just wish it wasn't the CEO of the company who stands to gain financially from us getting these shots who's saying, yeah, I'm thinking you're going to need a fourth one. Who wants another shot? He's paying. That guy over there is paying. Shots for everybody. That's basically what he's doing.
Well, the reality is nobody's paying. The governments
are paying. Yes, we're all paying.
Well, so, we are, but I mean, we don't, they don't look at it that way. They're like, oh, well, if I can hoodwink the government into thinking we need a fourth shot.
Once again, the chief executive officer of the company who makes the drugs says we need more of these drugs. Just ridiculous. Let's see. Google, most Googled is trending today. These are the most Googled music artists of the year, 2021, the top 10 most Googled music artists of the year. Are you ready? Number 10, Lil Nas X.
Makes sense.
Yeah, makes sense. Number 9. Who the hell is Bobby Shmurda? Bobby Shmurda. Bobby Shmurda sounds like the guy who did my grandpa's taxes. I don't know who Bobby Shmurda is, but he is trended. He's been Google searched more this past year than Lil Nas X. Bobby Shmurda.
Well, that's probably part of it.
Yeah, who's Bobby Shmurda?
Who's Bobby Shmurda?
Right. There you go. That would look at you. Bringing it up from the rear. That's absolutely true. Number 8, most Googled musical artist of the year, Daft Punk.
Yep.
Because they broke up? Is that why? People, I bet you that's it. There was kind of a big story among like people who want to, scoreboard you on their music knowledge by talking about what a sad day it was when Daft Punk broke up. And then everybody who went, who's Daft Punk? They went and Googled it.
There
and
we're
like,
go.
Oh, okay. That's got to be it. Marilyn Manson, number 7. The number 7 most Googled musical artist of 2021. Marilyn Manson. If you had told me, if you had said, Pugs, a week ago, Pugs, is Marilyn Manson relevant? I'd say absolutely not. He hasn't been relevant in 20 years. I'm totally wrong. Because Google is the ultimate barometer of relevancy. People are searching for him. People are interested in him. So there you go. 10 is Lil Nas X. 9 is Bobby Shmurda. 8 is Daft Punk. 7 is Marilyn Manson. Number 6 is Olivia Rodrigo.
Yep, I can see that.
She's in my top 5 Olivias.
She was everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Let's see. Number 5 or 3, 2, 1. Yeah. Number 5 here is Dr. Dre. Makes sense.
Again, more along the lines of Marilyn Manson. I would have thought his heyday would have been a while ago. But maybe that Super Bowl show.
He's still like a god in the hip hop world, and I don't know what particularly.
But I'm saying maybe the Super Bowl. He got announced for the Super Bowl show. Maybe people are like, okay, who's this Dr. Dre guy?
Number 4, The Weeknd. The Weeknd is the number 4th most Googled artist of the year
Another Super
2021.
Bowl guy.
Yep. Adele is number 3 most Googled artist of 2021. Adele, what an angel. That girl, I'm telling you. You want to talk about, she is the closest thing I think that we have right now to like the new Barbara Streisand. Like, I think 40 years from now, Adele is still going to be selling out concerts and old women are going to be going to see her shows. I just think she's got
Or Lady
staying power.
Gaga.
Well, Lady Gaga, I say, is more Madonna. Lady Madonna.
But with the acting chops of Barbara Streisand.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. So there's a little crossover there in my comparisons, but yeah. Number 2, Morgan Wayland is the number 2 most Googled artist. He's that
Isn't he a
country guy.
I think he's a country western guy.
He's a country guy who got kicked off Saturday Night Live for making out with a girl with COVID in an Oklahoma bar or something like that. I don't know. I might have it wrong, but that was something about him.
Yeah, and he's got a couple songs out right now that seem like they're top of the charts.
Any guess
like
on
one of them is "Dust in My Boots" or something.
Any guess on the most Googled music star of 2021? Most Googled. I contributed to this.
I would think it would be a boy band.
Right? Yeah, like a BTS or something like that.
Something.
Travis Scott, of course. Travis Scott is number 1. After that thing went down, people like me who didn't know if he was a basketball player or a hip hop artist Googled him right away. Like, who is this guy? Okay, also trending today, Jeff Hardy. We don't do wrestling on this show, but Jeff Hardy, the WWE guy, he has been released by the WWE after an incident over the weekend where he walked out on the show. Reports are circulating in the wrestling world that Jeff Hardy was offered an opportunity to go to rehab, but he turned it down. And so the WWE said, okay, well, then we're cutting ties with you. Apparently, Jeff Hardy, and I don't know much
They
about
do an intervention during the interview on TV.
See, that's the problem with this. I don't. What do you believe? Jeff Hardy is a big name in wrestling. He is trending because he apparently walked out on live TV of a show. And how do you know if that's real? And you're watching the show and it's like, what? He's quitting? What? Oh, that's got to be part of the kayfabe. That's got to be part of the work that the wrestlers write in, right? And you don't know. But apparently he's got a history of like dependency issues. I don't know enough. So I don't know if it's drugs. I don't know if it's alcohol, but he's got dependency issues and also apparently some mental things that he's dealing with, some issues like depression and all that kind of stuff.
That'd be tough to deal with if you had a wrestler that wasn't like all there because like maybe he's forgetting that this isn't real. You're in the middle of the match with him and he just kind of snaps.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because they all play crazy. You know, they all, boo, man. And they all play like
right, but this guy just goes off and he's not really playing.
Listerine is also trending today on multiple platforms. Listerine is trending because the Right Honorable Senator Ron Johnson from Wisconsin said Listerine cures COVID. All you got to do is just a senator, a United States senator said that, data proves that if you just gargle with Listerine, let's find out what kind of stock he has. Let's find out what his portfolio has. And if it's got like Procter & Gamble, the parent company of Listerine or whatever, we need to look into this.
I mean, if Listerine tastes so damn awful, it could probably kill about anything.
Right. But the reason that Listerine is trending is because Listerine actually put out a tweet countering Ron Johnson saying, we absolutely do not cure COVID. So, it's kind of a big deal. You would think they'd want to sit this one out and just
sit there to watch the bottles fly off the
shelves and rube communities that think that Listerine could suddenly be discovered as the cure. But no, Listerine got out.
Think about that. The number of products that like have been just like thrown out there as COVID cures.
Yeah.
Like what was the horse
dewormer?
Horse dewormer.
Lysol. Didn't the president say Lysol?
The president said Lysol.
If we could find a way to inject that.
The first one, what was it? The malaria drug.
Yeah. I don't care. Whatever.
Hydroxychloroquine.
The idea that people are willing to just do all of this stuff, but not the vaccine is just, I don't know. So you'd rather shoot Lysol into your veins.
I mean, Lysol and Listerine seem like they're in the same family.
Yeah, except one you can put in your mouth. The other one, no.
Right.
I'll leave it up to you to decide which is
Like
which.
Listerine is the ingestible Lysol.
Okay, what else? The Pope is trending. The Pope is trending alongside something that you very rarely see the Pope trending next to, and that is sexy sins. Did you hear about this? Hear what the Pope said? Pope says being unfaithful and looking at porn, stuff like that. Nah, big sins. They're not major sins. Sexy sins not that big of a deal, according to the Pope. I'm telling you, we got the cool Pope. We got the party Pope. We got the Pope who's down for anything. We got the Pope you could talk to about stuff.
Well, and we got a Pope that's not allowed to have those types of the real relations with people. Or priests, so maybe they're cutting them a little slack.
This comes from MSN. Let us proclaim the mystery of faith. Sometimes the Pope says unexpected things because he wants to and feels like it. This week, Pope Francis accepted the resignation of Paris Archbishop Michel Oppier after a report that Oppier had a consensual, intimate affair with a woman in 2012. When asked about the accusations during a recent press conference, the Pope decided to give a fun little ranking of the sins. Okay, the Pope is doing top 10 lists. I like it. He said, this is a sin, having a relation with a woman. This is a sin, but it's not one of the gravest sins, the Pope said, referring to rumors of Oppier's affair, which the Archbishop has denied, but admitted his actions may have been ambiguous. Pope Francis added, because sins of the flesh are not the gravest. So there, a little bit of extramarital sensuality is a sin, but it's not a big one. It's not a sin. It was failing against the sixth commandment, you shall not commit adultery, but not a total one. One of small caresses, massages given to his secretary. This is what the accusation is, Francis continued, referring to the claims. All right, whatever. Pope is down for a little bit of fun time. That's apparently.
I don't know that he's down for it. He's just saying it's not as bad as some of the other ones.
Not a big problem. Okay, Slim 400. Boy, I had to Google him too as well. Slim 400 is trending today. He is a hip hop star. He was shot and killed in Inglewood, California last night. I'm not familiar with Slim 400, but
does the 400 have anything to do with his body weight?
No. Well, Slim.
Well, I mean, a lot of times people that are big are referred to as slim.
That's right. I'm a slim 230. That is me. I am a slim. All right. And also, Stephen Colbert is trending as well. Apparently, Stephen Colbert went off on Devin Nunes. Devin Nunes is leaving Congress to run Trump's new media company. Whatever that's all about. I love Stephen Colbert. I think Stephen Colbert is a very funny guy. But, there was a time when I would weekly I'd watch Colbert. I would watch Bill Maher. I would watch John Oliver on HBO. I haven't watched any of those shows in like 4 years. I just can't. I don't care how funny you are. I do not find politics funny, and I haven't for about 4 years. The joke is over. The shit is not funny. You're sitting there making these catty little witticisms about the grave state of our democracy. I just can't stomach it anymore. I have not enjoyed Bill Maher in probably 15 years. That guy I just find to be an insipid twat. I hate he just so. You want to talk about my reason for disliking the elitism of the girls on Sex and the City? There is not a more elitist person on television than Bill Maher. And John Oliver, who is so brilliant and so funny and such a great, just get off the politics, man. I don't want to laugh about politics. And Colbert has kind of done the same thing. When Colbert was doing the Colbert Show on Comedy Central, he was doing satire. It was a character that he had created as sort of a shadow reflection of like the Bill O'Reilly types. He was absurd, he was ridiculous, but it was funny and it was satire. Then when Colbert got the Letterman Show, the CBS late night show, he dropped all the politics. And I thought, okay, that's good. This is going to be interesting. How is he going to do it now without the politics? And he was wonderful. He was funny. Stephen Colbert is a really funny guy. But then when Trump got in, Colbert just went right back to being a political commentator on CBS at 10:30 p.m. Central Standard Time every night. And I went, nope, I can't do this anymore. This is not funny to me. Okay, you're funny. You're making fun of something that isn't funny. You're making fun of something that I think is really dangerous. Do something about it. If we're not going to do anything about it, I'm not comfortable sitting here just laughing about it. So stop it. I used to record Bill Maher every week. I recorded John Oliver every week. I just can't do it anymore. I can't watch. I don't find that shit funny. I don't find politics funny in any way, shape, or form. In fact, I find politics, the modern state of it, to be totally infuriating, which is why I have no room.
Yeah, I think that's what it is. I think it is funny, but I think it's funny, and then all of a sudden you get mad, and then it's not funny anymore.
I like this country. I like, it's like we've been listening to people for years tear down our country about what an awful place it is. And, the left is doing this and the right is doing this. And I don't know, man, it's going to be 80 degrees here in North Texas today. The sun is shining. I might have to go to the store. I'll say hi to strangers. They'll say hi back. You're living under a rock. No, I'm not. I'm just not causing shit that is completely out of my control to infect my personal universe. My personal universe is a nice place. There was a dude. Hey, I did something at the grocery store yesterday. There was this I think it was a crazy guy. Okay, so I went to the Kroger in the neighborhood, and it was like this 60-year-old guy he's a gay guy. He's like 60-year-old gay guy. But he also, I don't know if he certainly wasn't from North Texas, because he had like the total, he would like a complete, he just had that accent that certainly wasn't from around here. But it was also that accent with like, a 60-year-old queen, where it was just like, and he was complaining because the line for the self-checkout, which we know you don't like, the line for the self-checkout was wrong. And he believed that people were cutting in front of him. But I was right in front of, like he wasn't accusing me. He was behind me, and he was accusing other people. But what he didn't realize was there were four lanes. He thought there was only one. So this guy, he's like complaining. He's like, I tell you what, if one more person cuts in front of me, there's going to be a problem up in here. I am not going to let people just cut in front of me. And I'm like, watch, he's losing his shit about it. And I like walked up to him and I go, hey man, I go, you know what? I go, there's four. I was nice about it. I'm like, there's four lines. There's like, I think you're kind of standing in the middle. He was just standing in the middle, and people in other
he couldn't
lines,
figure out. He thought like he was a general feed line. He didn't realize
Yeah. And he goes, what? He said, I just think, and he looks around and I go, here, I'll tell you what. I go, you just stand right here. Stand behind me. He goes, I'm going to get out here. You can take this one because you've been standing there for a while. And he goes, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't realize that. Thank you so much. Look at me being a beautiful person.
Nice guy.
I didn't tell him to shut up. I didn't tell him to calm down. None of that stuff. I saw the issue. I fixed the issue in my own personal universe, and I made somebody happy. If we could just do that and forget all about bullshit politics, I'm telling you, people, everything will be more beautiful.
Tonight, I think, is Brian Williams' last night.
It is. We talked about that. Yeah. That was one of the first things that we got into today. I talked about how.
And what yesterday was the anniversary of John Lennon getting shot.
Yeah. Oh, you didn't. Oh, man, I'm sorry. You missed like the first ones that we run off on. Yeah. I try and save certain ones for you and me to like talk about, and then I front load the ones that I want to sort of riff on by myself. But yeah, we played the Monday Night Football clip of Howard Cosell. All right, Gifford, I've got to make this announcement. A tragic occurrence has just occurred in New York City.
And then also, because when we tuned out last night, I had MSNBC on. And I saw Brian Williams. They replayed the Hinckley shooting or the Reagan shooting. That was like on TV last night.
Yikes. All right, that's going to do it, folks. Appreciate you. We'll hope you circle back and join us. 9 o'clock for the Pillow Talk edition of this show. I'm going to stick around and I'm going to hang out and fight with you people about... Ed wants to know if I was at the gay Kroger or the big Kroger.
The gay Kroger.
I was at the gay Kroger yesterday. Although, it doesn't mean that the gay people are not allowed to shop at the big Kroger, but I just happened to be at the one at Cedar Springs.
Predominantly gay Kroger.
What is that, Cedar Springs and Douglas? The one with the really nice wine and cheese selection. Not that I engage in those kinds of things, but I was just over in that area. Okay. 9 o'clock tonight, Pillow Talk. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you remember, this is like a Marvel show. I'm going to stick around here for a few minutes. I don't have all the time in the world today because I do have something I got to get into. Apparently, I got to start watching Sex in the City. I'm gonna look. Hey, be an open-minded guy. Circle back, check it out. Season 1, episode 1. I'm happy to admit if I'm wrong, but I just remember I did not cotton to that show back in the day. But because I have faith in you, the faithful tuner in or chatter or whatever you want to call it, I will acknowledge that maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe I will check it out. But also, if I think it's still crap, I'm going to tell you. But I'll also admit if I was wrong. Because I think that's a very important thing that we all need to start doing more of. Admitting when you're wrong. I'm wrong all the time. I got nothing else. All right, come back tonight. 9 o'clock for the Pillow Talk edition with James Parker from New Orleans and E in the nighttime incarnation of his persona, which is, of course, sunglasses. We'll see you in a few, and I'll rip through the chat room for you after this. Thanks, folks.
Lost in the world, enough to make you cry. I was down and out, without a doubt, looking for my home. I was down and out, without a doubt, the only home I've known. I was down and out, without a doubt, looking for my home. I was down and out, without a doubt, the only home I've known.
I did that wrong. We're back. Okay. This is a little part of the show where we'd like to just wrap it up by me going through the chat room because you people are too important for me to just be ignoring day in and day out. So, God, I got to tell you though, man, you guys, especially you, I know some of you in there are not here in the North Texas area. You guys, it's like July outside. It's 80 degrees and sunny. And I'm wearing a sweat jacket because I had, but I'm sweating now. At the beginning of the show, I was cold and I was wearing a sweat jacket. And now I'm just, God, what a gorgeous day. If I could turn the camera and just show you the outside, what a gorgeous day. It's jet skiing weather. Well, no, it's not because it was like, 40 last night. And I'm sure the water up there, like Louisville, is still pretty damn cold. But it's like 80 now. It's going to be nice. It's going to be really nice this weekend. And then it's going to drop like 1,000 degrees and it'll be cold again. Cold by Texas standards. It'll dip into the 40s at some point, I'm sure. All right, let's see here. Let's start from the beginning in the chat room. Kenny Jenkins, greetings from San Antonio. Kenny, you're moving up the ladder, huh? You were in Corpus Christi most recently. Steve Eaton says hi. Hi, Steve. Appreciate you. April, hi. Hey, Pugs. Today is cool because I was born today. Yeah, happy birthday, April. And then she says, hey, thank you. She appreciated me saying happy birthday to her. Yeah, hold that thought, though, because you're going to hate me in about 15 minutes when I start talking about Sex in the City. Jeff Glenn says he missed Pillow Talk again, and now he has something to listen to on Friday night and Saturday. Yeah, that's sort of the purpose of, we do 2 shows. We do the High Noon Show, which is very, very in the moment. The High Noon Show that we just concluded here is all about things that are trending. So it's, it'll go stale because we talk about topics as they pop up in that day. The Pillow Talk Show was designed more to be evergreen, something you could listen to whenever. We may talk about certain things that are happening in that day, but for the most part, it's what we'd call evergreen topics, things that don't really, that you can listen to them like a week from now or a year from now or 2 years from now, and it really won't matter. It'll still make sense to you. Everybody wishing April a happy birthday. Frank says, you the best. No, you the best. Kevin Barber, my son too, bowl of cereal in the drawer. Kids, I don't know, man. What is that about? He says, Kevin says, the worst is finding thermoses of curdled milk in closets. Well, you must be thermos rich because in my house, we keep track of the one thermos that we have. Must be nice, Kevin Barber. You are wealthy in the thermos game. You're just comfortably losing thermoses willy-nilly. Happy birthday, everybody saying happy birthday to April. As well they should. If I don't look at I should look more at the Facebook birthdays. Because there are a whole bunch of people that I truly care about whose birthdays I miss, and then I feel bad about it. And I'll tell you what happened once. I was just randomly looking at that. Like I wasn't looking at it every day, like once every couple of months. I'm like, let's see whose birthday it is. And I wished a happy birthday to a friend of mine's wife. And my friend's birthday was like the week before. And I remember he said to me, he goes, what's up with that? Why are you wishing my wife a happy birthday, but not me? I was like, because I'm trying to steal her from you. No, it's because I randomly looked at the day and it was her day. So now I don't wish anybody happy birthdays on Facebook, although I should. That should be maybe I could do that. Maybe that's something. That's just what we need. More stupid stuff at the front end of the show that stops us from getting into the trending topics. Let's see here. On this day, Josh Duggar was found guilty. I am happy with that justice. Yeah, April, that's we got to that. We got to that a little bit later. That is a truly despicable. I don't know. I talked about it. You back up the show, you go on the YouTube, you find it. You can hear my thoughts on that if you missed it. That's disgusting. Jeff Glenn on Blago. Blago, one day he had a full head of black hair. Next day it was gray. He went completely gray like overnight. Well, not really. We just didn't see him for like the 12 years he was in prison. But yeah, it was kind of strange when we see the public pictures of Blago when he was governor with that jet black crazy head of hair that he had. And then when he came out of prison, it was all white. That was awesome. Let's see. His daughter is a great actor, and man, is she sexy to me anyway. Blago or Malkovich? Because I know I talked about. Yeah. All right. Let me see. I'll address this. Let me see John Malkovich's daughter. Adam says she's sexy. Let me see if I agree. John Malkovich's daughter.
John Malkovich's daughter is Amandine Malkovich.
Okay. All right. I'm getting like sort of a cross section of pictures. Well, so Amandine Malkovich. Okay. Not a lot of pictures of her. There is one picture of her that I see. And she is a 31-year-old actress. Okay. All right. We'll move on from that. Let's see here. My cousin spent 6 years in jail for child porn. I'm sure his beehole is the size of the Lincoln Tunnel. Oh, man. I mean, he was sick, right, Adam? I mean, that's got to be a sickness. There's got to be something wrong. Look, I know that I think that most people who do completely heinous things are suffering from some form of a mental defect. And that doesn't excuse the behavior. It doesn't. It does explain it, though. Somebody opens up on a crowd of people at a country concert on the Las Vegas Strip, and he's a crazy person. Now, that doesn't excuse the behavior. He still needs to pay a price for it, but it does explain it, and that's really the best we can probably hope for. April says, yeah, more. I want to get out of the Josh Duggar stuff. That is just so disgusting. I mentioned I was talking about how porn and how I find it kind of gross how they really seem legitimate legal porn seems to be leaning into the young looking girl thing. And I mentioned Riley Reid, who is one of the biggest adult film stars in the business. Rick Bradley, quick to know who Riley Reid is. He says she's 32 years old. Yeah, that's what I said. She's 32, but she's been doing it for, I think she got in probably when she was 18 years old. But the reason that she is still one of the biggest porn stars in the business is because at 32 years old, she still looks like she's at most 22, at most. Yeah, but she was, I don't know. That's what I mean. They don't seem, the porn industry as a whole, and there is no such thing as a whole. The porn industry, as a monolith. They aren't all tied together. It's a bunch of little individual things. So when I make these very bold statements about the porn industry, that's bullshit. There is no porn industry. There are hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands of individual producers who are creating things, and they can't possibly be on the same page. And if there's an avenue to make a little bit of money or an avenue to somehow stand out from all the glut of other content that's out there, they're going to do it. And, it just seems like there's a whole lot of them that are just really trying to tantalize these borderline pedophiles with some of the content that's out there. Let's see here. I mean, I guess my favorite porn star of all time is Tara Patrick. There ain't nobody confusing Tara Patrick for an underage girl. Tara Patrick is a bombshell, baby. Now we're going to get into all the... Okay, I addressed most of these Sex in the City things when we were slinging them hot. We were going back and forth. This is where April now decided she hates me. Okay. Well, still happy birthday, April. And I'm going to try and watch. I'm going to have lunch. And typically I would, I'm watching Yellowstone, which at some point I'm going to have to talk about Yellowstone. I don't know if you people watch Yellowstone. I'm now in the middle of season 2. It was hard. The first, everyone says Yellowstone is so good. You got to watch Yellowstone. Yellowstone is so good. The first 3 or 4 episodes were they were hard for me to get through. It took me like a month to get through the first 4 episodes of Yellowstone. Oh, but now I'm into it. It picks up. It certainly does pick up. Whereas it took me about a month to get through the first 4 episodes of Yellowstone. I finished out the rest of the season and I'm now halfway through season 2 in like 3 days. I mean, now I'm just binging. Whenever my TV watching time comes into play here in my 24-hour cycle, it is now dedicated to just consuming Yellowstone. And I have thoughts. About Yellowstone. Not all of them are good. If you people don't like my Sex in the City thoughts, you're probably going to be really appalled by some of my Yellowstone thoughts. Kevin Costner is so awesome, though. He is such a great actor. I love that guy. The character that he plays, no. I separate the art from the artist. I like Kevin Costner. This character that he plays in Yellowstone, John Dutton, don't get me started on John Dutton. It's a good show, though. I am really enjoying it. There is not one likable... Here he goes. All right, I was going to do a segment on Yellowstone, but why not? I'm already... It's flowing. Yellowstone. There is not one likable character that I have found in the show, with the exception of maybe the elderly Indian grandfather. That's it. And I got to imagine that he's going to be dead soon, because he's probably not long for this series run. Everybody in the show Yellowstone is a piece of garbage. Not the people, not the actors. Every character is just a piece of garbage. And oh my God, these cowboys, the way these modern day cowboys, ranch hands, the way these people behave, they're awful. They are criminal. They are dumb. They are ignorant, inbred, stupid criminal morons. And they're so entertaining. They are so entertaining. Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm liking it. Terrible people, though. And it is very, very similar situation to the HBO series Succession, which is also about a very wealthy family and the children who are set to inherit, the wealth of the Succession family. Yellowstone is very similar to that. It's about the Dutton family and the kids that are coming up and what is Kevin Costner going to have to leave to his kids. Very similar in that there is almost nobody that is likable. There is nobody you'd want to be on a long car ride with on either of those shows. Terrible people. Terrible, terrible people. But fun to watch. Tartan says Yellowstone is Yeehaw Sons of Anarchy. You are very, very close to what I feel about it. I don't know. Yes, it is definitely a Sons of Anarchy vibe. However, are you familiar, Tartan, that the creator of Yellowstone is Sheriff Hale from Sons of Anarchy, the guy who played Hale in Sons of Anarchy, who was Unser's deputy, the deputy sheriff. They called him Captain America. That is the creator of Yellowstone. So yeah, there is a lot of Sons of Anarchy vibe in Yellowstone. Very similar sort of thing. So yeah, Taylor Sheridan, I believe is his name. Yeah, Tartan. Yeah. Go Google search Taylor Sheridan and pull up his Wikipedia page. Like the first thing will say Taylor Sheridan, creator and writer of the show Yellowstone, most known for playing Deputy Hale on Sons of Anarchy. Yeah. He also wrote, dude, this Taylor Sheridan guy is a legit dude. He's written some really good movies too. And then I'm a Sons of Anarchy fan. So I'm like, that's Hale? Hale wrote that movie? Whoa. Hale was kind of a minor side character, but it turns out that he's got this whole other life as this really good creative dude. Yeah. So there you go. Let's see, what else do we have here? All right, it's the boy, oh boy, you people dragging me for my hot takes on Sex and the City. This went on forever. Yeah. All right, and there we go. And then apparently nobody wanted to say anything else because there's not a whole lot of other things that you guys talked to me about. All right, love you folks. We'll be back tonight at 9 o'clock for the Pillow Talk edition. I hope that you can be there or be square. If not, you can always listen to all the shows there on YouTube. That's the just pugscast.com and take you right to the YouTube page. Also, Radio Misfits, please check out everything that they have to do if you like podcasts. They've got a whole bunch of really cool stuff on there as well. And that's it. Thanks. Appreciate you being here. And we'll talk tonight at 9 o'clock, 9 Central Time for the Pillow Talk edition with me, Pugs, James Parker, and E. Okay, bye, everybody.